And I was like, nah, nah, nah. And I tried it. And just like mostly everything else I tried, once I tried it once, I was just hooked, you know what I mean? And then, you know, it was a time where I was getting money, but excuse me, once I tried that, it was downhill from then. You know, I was able to stay afloat maybe for maybe like 6 months or 8 months, but then after that it was just downhill. I was just using all the time, and coincidentally, the guy that introduced me to smoking crack, not too long after that, they found him dead on the highway in that car, shot in the head. You
Wow.
know, yeah. So but that ain't stopped me from doing that. I still stayed affiliated. I still stayed involved. I still participated in the lifestyle. Um, Around that time, I got I got my first major arrest. Cause to backtrack, my first arrest was at age 8. I was hanging out with the older guys up in the stores, stealing in the department stores, and everybody got out except for me. And they brought me back to my house, and my stepfather whipped me, had me standing in the corner with my foot up, carrying a book, having me naked in the corner, you know, just like really humiliating things, you know. So that was my first arrest. Got another arrest when I was 11, you know, for some busting windows. My friend had a beef with somebody. It's like, yo, let's go bust their window. We busted one Friday, came back this Saturday and tried to bust it again, and the father came out and caught us. So that was my second arrest. And then my first drug arrest was probably around 17 years old, about 17 or 18. Wind up going to Rikers Island, scared to death. uh, Bail $1,500. The dude that I was affiliated with, you know, wind up getting me out, and then from then it was just arrest after arrest and smoking and just like degradation, you know. It would like when I first started, it was guys that I used to give packages to, and after a while, the dudes that I was giving packages to, they got clean and they wind up giving me packages and, you know, treating me like a derelict. I remember one time being handcuffed to. I had a car in my driveway and I used to run off with people's money so much, but they still knew that I could get money. So what they did was handcuff me to the steering wheel in the car in my driveway. It couldn't move. And after I finished selling all this stuff, then they would unhandcuff me and pay me, and you know, so just like real degrading stuff like that, you know, coming from and not know and knowing that it wasn't really like good. Like I said, Catholic school coming up, you know.
Known
So I
better.
had, yeah, I knew better. Had some kind of, and I think that was my saving grace because through all of it, I always felt like, you know, this is not me. You know what I mean? And and that part of the using was the beginning of my crack addiction. And I say like probably that was like around 18 or 19. From 19 to 23, it was just using jail. Never a prison bid. I'll do 8 months, get out, do 6 months, get out, do 90 days. You know, just endless cycle. You know, just an endless cycle of drugs and using and degradation. I remember my last time in jail. Um, I think I was stealing some hubcaps off of cars because that's when I went back to the Bronx. I'm Puerto Rican, so it's stereotypical that we you know steal cars, but I was real low level, so I was just taking the parts off of cars and wind up getting caught and wind up having a dollar bail and not being able to get out of jail for 13 days on a dollar bail. Just
Are you
calling
shit?
people,
A
yeah,
dollar.
a dollar bail. Calling people like, you know, my father, he was cracked out, but I called him, yo, you think you can help me? My grandfather, grandmother hung up on me, people that really loved me, but they were tired of, you know, dealing with that type of situation. And after I was in there for 13 days, and the guy gave me one of the COs gave me $1 to get out, to get out, and that was the last time that I was in there, for. I ain't saying that that's the last time that I did anything, but it was really uncomfortable to make me kind of think, and it was getting closer and closer to the end of my run. I did some other things. I remember going to Jamaica and having $500 to pay my ticket to get back home, and spending every dime of it and not knowing how I'm gonna get back home. You know what I mean? Being in Jamaica 4 o'clock in the morning, running around, not knowing anybody, and just trying to make moves like I'm back in the Bronx. By the grace of God, wind up getting home still safe. So. I know there's always been a higher power looking at me, looking over me, those type of situations where I got shot, when I got shot, I was in the house, I was supposed to stay in the house, and I didn't stay in the house, and they came around to try to shoot a guy that was standing next to me, and they wound up shooting me. And the thing about that is that 3 days later, when I'm riding out from the hospital, and the person I'm in the cab with, I'm like, yo, stop at the weed spot, because I got coke and crack at the house, so I want to get high. So I make him stop at the weed spot first, and I go home and I get high, and the next block I'm on the same spot where my blood is shedded, right on the same corner, on crutches, trying to get money. So, high power been holding me down all along, my last, because my clean day is October 3rd, 1991. So the last day when I was down, before I moved upstate New York, at the end of my run, what I would do every day, I would go out, I would wake up in the morning, I would get $5 worth of cans, the blue receptacle cans that they have like the 5-cent cans.
Like soda cans?
Yeah, soda cans, water bottles, whatever I could get 5 cents with. I would get $5 worth of that. I would stop at the store, steal a loaf of bread and some butter. That would be my breakfast. I would stop at the crack spot. I would get a hit, and then I would wait for people to come knock on my door, because I lived in a crack house, and that's what I did for the last months. I want to say probably the last 6 months of my addiction, 1991, from March all the way up until October 3rd, 1991. And
what happened October 3rd?
Well, actually, probably around October 1st or something like that. Let me backtrack. In September, I knew somebody that was in upstate New York, and they had went to treatment, and they never said, yo, you need to go to treatment, you need to do this. They never said that. They just would come down to New York, and they were looking real spliffy. So I asked them one day, yo, how, what you doing? They said they in treatment, There's a lot of treatment upstate New York, So I was interested. They gave me some information. And I remember saying, I just want to stop this. And I think it was probably the next day after I said that, that's when Project Lift called me, and they was, I remember my last day up there. I was in the crack house, and I just went crazy because I knew I was coming to treatment the next day. So I was taking people's wallets. I was taking the money out the wallet. They be on my back. I'd be just like, just like mad fiend and like animalistic.